All right, let's talk about San Francisco. Today, we're taking a trip to the iconic city by the bay, but we're going to skip the usual tourist traps. We're on the hunt for the secrets and surprising truths hiding in plain sight. You've seen the pictures of the Golden Gate Bridge, you've heard about the cable cars, Alcatraz, but do you really know the city? I'm willing to bet there are a few things that'll surprise you. So let's do it. Let's look a little closer. We're going to peel back the layers, go way beyond the postcard shots, and find the little stories and big secrets that make this city truly one of a kind. First up, let's talk about the city's scale. Because you might think you have a handle on its size, but trust me, it's bigger, smaller, and definitely steeper than most people realize. First off, the city is actually tiny. For a world-famous city, it has a super compact footprint, just a 7 by 7 miles square. Now, keep that number in your head because what's packed inside is kind of mind-blowing. That's right, jammed into that little 49 square mile area are over 50 named hills. Not the 7 hills you might have heard about, more than 50. Suddenly, those stories about the crazy steep streets make a whole lot more sense, right? And here's another little surprise about scale. You know, when you think of a huge city park, Central Park in New York probably comes to mind. Well, get this. San Francisco's Golden Gate Park is a full 20% larger. Yeah, it covers over 1,000 acres. So, all that unique geography, well, it helped shape a culture of firsts that's just as unique. The city's physical landscape is wild, but its cultural landscape is where you see the real pioneering spirit. Let's dive into how different communities really made their mark. Check out these 2 milestones. San Francisco is home to the oldest Chinatown in all of North America, established way back in 1848. And, here's a fun twist, that fortune cookie you crack open after your meal, it was actually invented right here in the late 1890s at the Japanese Tea Garden in Golden Gate Park. And that spirit of firsts doesn't stop there. The city is also home to the oldest and largest Japantown in the United States. And this is a really big deal because it's one of only 3 historic Japantowns left in the entire country. Okay, you ready to dig a little deeper? We're about to get into some of the city's hidden histories, the strange, forgotten stories buried, sometimes literally, right under your feet. You know, before it was San Francisco, the city had a totally different name, Yerba Buena. It's Spanish for good herb, named after this wild mint that grew everywhere when the first European settlers showed up. The name didn't officially change till 1846. We all know Alcatraz as the Rock, right? The infamous, inescapable prison. But that whole chapter of its life didn't even start until 1934. Before it held America's Most Wanted, it was actually a military fort. Okay, this might be the weirdest fact of all. You can't be buried in San Francisco. Seriously, since 1902, because space was getting so tight in that 7 by 7 grid, the city outlawed almost all new burials. But, and this is such a sweet but, there is one really heartwarming exception. Tucked away in the Presidio, there's a cemetery for over 400 pets that belonged to military families. It's this quiet little corner of the city, a really touching piece of history. All right, for our final section, let's talk about the big-ticket items, the city icons, but of course with a twist. We're going to get into the unexpected stories behind San Francisco's most famous symbols. Believe it or not, the most famous bridge in the world was never supposed to be that color. The original plan was for black and gold stripes, pretty standard for the time. But the architect, this guy named Irving Morrow, saw the reddish-orange primer coat and just fell in love with it. He fought for it, arguing it was perfect against the landscape. And thank goodness he won, right? You know the fog in San Francisco? It's so famous, it's practically a local celebrity. So, of course, it has a name. Locals lovingly call that thick blanket of fog Carl. It even has its own Instagram account. So next time you see it rolling in, you can just say, "Hey, Carl." And this really puts the cable cars in perspective. They're not just a cute way to get up those 50-plus hills. They are officially the only moving National Historic Landmark in the entire United States. Think about that. It's literally a museum on wheels. So there you have it. We've talked about a park bigger than Central Park, in a city that's just 7 miles wide, the invention of the fortune cookie, and a fog named Carl. It just makes you wonder, what other secrets is the city by the bay still hiding?